Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube, and today I wanted to talk to you about an American television series called WESTWORLD. WESTWORLD is an American science fiction thriller television series. It's on HBO, home box office, and it also happens to be one of the most requested videos I've ever had here on this channel. There's a lot of you that are watching WESTWORLD, and I'm getting the comments and messages every day about this show. The television series itself takes place in a fictional area called WESTWORLD. It's a technologically advanced Western-themed amusement park populated completely by synthetic androids that are dubbed hosts. And WESTWORLD caters to very high-paying customers who can do whatever they wish within the park without fear of retaliation from the hosts. So there have been 3 episodes up to now, and I've watched all 3. And I am definitely seeing everything you guys are seeing as well. Because within this series we find a lot of the very common New World Order ideas that we find in so many other examples of entertainment out there, movies, television shows, etc. Transhumanism is a huge theme within this television series, but it's interesting because as you watch, it's also very much about 2 camps of people. One group of people who are enlightened, or maybe we could say who've been initiated into the truth, and the other group that's completely in the dark. Much like the movie series The Matrix before it, once again we find that idea of 2 groups of people. There's a group of characters that are completely in the dark of what reality is, and then there's a group of characters that are in the light. And this also takes us all the way back to a really old story, but it's still the same theme as there, of enlightenment, of when Adam and Eve ate the apples. And just a quick little side note on that, I was looking up an image for Adam and Eve. You can see I put Adam and Eve up there in the search engine for Google. And what does it give me? It gives me the Adam and Eve adult toy store. Oh, the times we're in. Now this here is one of the primary characters that we're following through the series, and she happens to be one of the robots, or the synthoids. And what's happening in this park is that many of these robots are, quote, waking up. They're beginning to question their own realities. It's almost as if they're gaining some form of a consciousness. This character and the rest of the robots, right, that are in WESTWORLD, these are the characters that are in the dark. But as the series is progressing, it seems that they're coming into the light, if you will. They're gaining some form of knowledge. And then, of course, the characters within the series that are the enlightened ones, characters like this right here, that's the actor Anthony Hopkins. And in this series he plays the creator of WESTWORLD, really the man behind the curtain. So him and this massive team of scientists and just workers behind the scenes, these are the enlightened ones. What's interesting though is that the series actually places you as a watcher in that category as well. You are also enlightened. You realize as a watcher that there's much more happening outside the realm of WESTWORLD. There's much more happening outside the realm of these robots' lives, these lives that they've been programmed to, day by day, continue to live out. And it's interesting as well because at this time in our history, like in the real world, there seems to be a massive awakening taking place. Lots of things are being exposed. Everything that was in the dark seems to be coming to the light now. And the masses of people genuinely seem to be waking up to these truths. So I find that a very interesting parallel to this television series. Now there's also plenty of occult messages going on within this series. There's also a lot of so-called Illuminati symbolism, if you will. And we talk about this subject a lot here on the channel. I believe it's very important because when you start seeing these common themes, these symbols, and a lot of this entertainment, which pretty much most things have this stuff in it nowadays, but once you start realizing it and you understand there's an intention behind it that is against you, once you see that, I believe you can break that conditioning, you can break that imprinting, you can break the programming that these television shows and movies hope to have on your mind, on your subconscious. So we'll start here with some of the basics. I want to show you how these symbols work a lot of the time. And as you can see right here on the cover, this is WESTWORLD. This is their kind of official symbol. And they've slightly hidden it, but again, it's one of the most common Illuminati symbols out there. It's the pyramid with the sun. So you look between the legs of that robot and you see the black pyramid. And then just under its right arm, they've placed the sun. And the pyramid and the sun together is again one of the most common so-called Illuminati symbols out there, or a symbol for the higher level Freemasons, for the initiates. for the enlightened, so to speak. These secret societies that believe they have all the knowledge and they hide it from the masses. As I mentioned earlier, we're really living in a time, it's a great awakening, that all this knowledge is coming out for everybody. It's no longer staying in the shadows. So anytime you start seeing these common occult symbols showing up in modern entertainment, movies, TV shows, music videos, whatever it is, 9 times out of 10 you're going to find a lot more of these symbols, and beyond just those symbols you'll find an intention, you'll find a message behind these symbols. And Westworld certainly was no different. There's a lot of different things I found in here I want to show to you. But since we're talking about the more basic form of these symbols and we're looking at the Westworld logo, let's take a look back at the original Westworld film and let's see if we can find anything there. And so sure enough, we go back to the actual cover of the Westworld film and we find more of the so-called Illuminati symbolism, the all-seeing eye symbolism. You may be new to this stuff and it may be getting lost on you. I'm not sure. It may fly over some people's heads, but you should really look into this because we have been indoctrinated into this so-called beast system for many, many years. And one way that you can tell who's been doing the indoctrination, what kind of entertainment has been indoctrinating you, is by looking for the symbols. Because the language of symbols always tells another story. Even on another level, there's an actor in Westworld, and I'll show you him in just a second. His name is Rodrigo Santoro. And I immediately recognized him because I'd seen this film right here, The 33. There's breakdowns on this film you can find online. It's absolutely fascinating, but this was a heavily occultic movie right here, The 33, with lots of different messages that were hidden within, all occult in nature. Illuminati symbolism, all that stuff, all right there. On another level, it was about a bunch of people being in the dark and coming out into the light. In fact, I'm going to leave a link below so you can learn more about this film, about the 33 Chilean miners that were trapped and rescued. And this right here is from one of my all-time favorite websites, vigilantcitizen.com. And here's a picture of Rodrigo Santoro in the new Westworld series. So again, this is just a branch off the tree, I know, but it's interesting because we'll find so many of these kind of connections in a lot of these shows that are rife with occult imagery and ideas. And another example of that is this right here. This is the lead female character of Westworld. Her name is Evan Rachel Wood. And when we step outside of the show itself, we can find these Hollywood satanic connections. And of course, there's no doubt that Marilyn Manson's connected with Hollywood satanic societies, or Hollywood Illuminati, if you will, the secret societies. And here she is rocking some of that as above, so below imagery. Along with a tattoo of the lightning bolt. And of course, the lightning bolt itself, in context, of course, right? In context, but the lightning bolt so often in a lot of these movies and TV shows and videos is representing Satan or Lucifer, disguised as an angel of light, the fallen angel. I want to show you the opening sequence as well, at least just some screenshots from there. I'm sure most of you who watched the show have already seen this. If not, you'll see it when you do. But there's symbolism taking place in here as well, right before our very eyes, once again. The very first image we get is sun symbolism. Sun symbolism by itself could just be a sun, right? But again, when it's accompanied by so many other symbols I'm about to show you, and just the things I've already shown you, and all the themes that are addressed in this series, then we know where this is coming from. Freemasons worship the sun. The high-level Masons, the so-called Illuminati, these people are sun, S-U-N, sun worshippers. They worship Lucifer, the false god of light. That's why not only do you find sun symbolism in so many TV shows, movies, etc., but also on a lot of corporate products and a lot of corporate logos will have that sun symbol. So we have the sun symbol opening up. And then we have the white horse. Again, the white horse by itself is nothing. It's just a white horse. And also, all of the robots that are created in Westworld start off white. They look like this, right? Then they get kind of sprayed down and everything else. Next thing you know, they look just like something that's real. In the Bible, we're told about the pale horse as one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The white horse has also been called pestilence. The white horse is usually seen as having a rider atop the horse that's bringing death or seeks to conquer. And of course, many associate this with the Antichrist itself. But right now we're just looking at a white horse. Well, let me show you what happens next. The next three images we get are all the all-seeing eye. All three. This is the first. This is the second. And then this is the third. And then shortly after that we get this image. They bring the white horse back, but now it has a rider. It has a rider with a weapon. Pestilence. The pale horse that brings death. And once again, if these were all by themselves, maybe it could mean something else. But when we have all of these symbols in conjunction with each other, we get to see the bigger picture. They also have the symbolism in the opening sequence of the two within one, or the two races within one being. You could also see this as the little angel on one shoulder and the little devil on the other, representing the same idea. And then just in case you didn't get enough all-seeing eyes to get the point of the consciousness that's bringing this entertainment to you, it ends the whole opening sequence with another huge all-seeing eye. And throughout the series, if you're paying attention, they put other all-seeing eyes in there throughout. I thought this is pretty interesting. This is for the flat earth people out there. I am not a flat earth believer, but I know a lot of people that watch my videos are into it, so fair enough. So I wanted to share this with you, but they have some of that flat earth symbolism in there as well. Right here we have more sun symbolism right there in the back, and that's also a representation of the as above so below, or the triangles. I'll show you that right here. So as I've mentioned, there's a lot of different themes taking place throughout the series, but what really started getting me interested was something that took place in the very first episode. One of the robots, and it's the character you're looking at on screen right now, he starts really kind of freaking out. And I'm not going to give away a whole lot of the story, just in case some of you out there actually want to see this show. And why he starts freaking out isn't exactly important to my point I want to make right here. But this is a scene near the end of the first episode, and that's when I was like, wow, okay, I see what they're going for. If you're not familiar with my channel, one of the subjects I cover quite a bit here is the fallen angels, and how we see a lot of fallen angel theology mixed into our reality. It's really important to keep in mind what they call these robots. They call these robots hosts. So these are host bodies. As for the fallen angels, you can check this out if you're interested. A lot of you already know this, some of you don't. But if you look in the Bible and you look in Genesis, one of the chapters talks about the sons of God coming down to the earth and taking women for wives. And from that union, a race of hybrids called the Nephilim were formed. So it's been through my understanding that the sons of God are actually fallen angels. Their offspring with the human women were called the Nephilim. So when the Nephilim were destroyed in the flood, their spirits may have become what many refer to as demons. So these demonic entities seek to inhabit bodies, okay? Bodies, a host body, because they are spirit beings and they want to interact with the physical dimensions. This idea has been studied and researched by a lot of other people out there, but it harkens back to the idea of the small gray aliens. That the gray alien itself is more of a biological suit for these disembodied spirits to inhabit. This is why I myself will typically refer to the small gray aliens as fallen angels or demonic interdimensionals. So in the scene where the robot freaks out, man, he really starts freaking out, even lunges towards, that's Anthony Hopkins, the creator, right there talking to him, the creator of all the robots. He lunges towards him and he's swearing revenge on Anthony Hopkins. He's swearing revenge on the humans. And when they finally shut him down, the scientists turn to each other and they're like, what was that? And all of them are like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before. So when I saw that, and again, considering just the things I know, the things I've researched and looked into for so many years, I immediately thought, wow, is that one of the angles they're going with? Now, I don't know if they're ever going to say, these are actually fallen angels, like in the 10th episode. I doubt that's going to happen, okay? I'm just saying that the theme is playing itself out right here. And it's very subtle unless you know anything about the stuff we're talking about, right? So that's when I was like, wow, really, is that it? Is that the angle? And then on the second episode, there was a little bit of dialogue there, and once I heard it, I was like, okay, good, yes, that is what they're talking about. That's what they're going for. Again, I doubt they're ever going to put this as a main part of the series, okay, because That's really deep stuff, alright? But somebody who's behind this show knows about this stuff with the fallen angels. And I've shown how the idea of these fallen angels, how they manifest in lots of other TV shows and movies as well. So this is just another example. That's Anthony Hopkins talking to basically his right-hand man. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's kind of the guy that's really running Westworld at the time. And Anthony Hopkins just kind of, stays off to the side and keeps creating things. But right here they're talking about the robots, and at one point Anthony Hopkins tells his friend here, he says, "What we're doing here, this is witchcraft." He talks about how many years earlier, if people knew about the stuff that they're doing right now, like say a couple hundred years ago, they would have been burned at the stake. I wanted to share this with you as well. It's just another example of what I was talking about. We see these stories put out in movies and TV shows all the time, music videos, and oftentimes it literally goes right back to the idea of the fallen angels, or these disembodied spirits looking for a host body to enter. Now this goes way back. Frankenstein's monster. Did you ever think about this? How is it that they, quote, breathed life into Frankenstein's monster? It was lightning. Lightning is what brought life into Frankenstein's monster, which was essentially just an avatar, right? It was a bunch of body parts stitched together with nothing inside, no soul. So they brought Frankenstein's monster to life through the bolt. And we know what the bolt represents. Another one of the predominant themes in here goes back to the idea of multiple personality disorder, or alter personalities. Now all of this you can find if you're not familiar. Do some research into MK Ultra, mind control. Look into Fritz Springmeier. By extension of that, and also for your own further study, you can look into the idea of all of these so-called Illuminati artists, these musicians, that have multiple personality disorders, or as they call them here, alter egos. So this theme is actually a big part of the overall story, I believe. You've already seen a lot of hints of it throughout the first 3 episodes. And the 3rd episode is where they really started kind of kicking it in and making it pretty obvious, the connections they're making here with this. Because the episode actually opens with Dolores, which is the female robot, Evan Rachel Wood, speaking with Bernard, who is the man who's kind of in charge of Westworld at this time. And he gives her a copy of Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. You can look that up as well, but Alice's Adventures in Wonderland has been said for many years to be a huge part of mind control conditioning. So he asks her to read a passage out loud, and once she does, he asks what that brings to mind for her, and she says it has to do with change. So again, we find this very common theme. I mean, among the most obvious, transhumanism, of course, is the most obvious. It's literally turning humans into robots while we're turning robots into humans. And that's the obvious. But that, coupled with all the symbolism, coupled with the fallen angel theme, and now we have this. As I said earlier, there's a lot going on in this series, just below the surface. And I'd like to add this part as well, because it's a big part of the show, at least the experience in Westworld, is sex with the robots. There's also people who go there just to kill the robots. This goes back to the idea, some of you may be asking, okay, you say that they're trying to imprint us with something, they're trying to put some ideas in our head, what are these ideas? Research transhumanism if you haven't looked into it. I've done a lot of videos on it myself, a lot of other people have covered this subject as well. We're literally being prepared for a post-human world. We're seeing the rise of the robots all over the place. There's also more and more stories coming out in the real world about sex robots. This is where this stuff mirrors each other. This is where the predictive programming comes in to set you up and get you ready for what's already on the way. So it's interesting, you're seeing some people write about this, Westworld-style sex with robots. When will it happen, and would it really be a good idea? I don't think it'd be a very good idea, but it's already on the way. And this article was published on the 29th of September, of course just before Westworld started. This is just one of many. Again, I've covered this subject a lot of times in the channel. Other people have covered it as well. Look into transhumanism, and you can see what's coming. This is just one example of many. Inside cyborg sex cafes, humans to pop in for oral sex and coffee. And you have stories like this from a year ago, 10 sex robots you can actually make love to today. So it's all here now. This stuff is happening now. But I think that through TV shows like Westworld and all the other transhumanism propaganda we see out there, that in no time soon, I imagine this is going to become much more normal for a lot of people. Not me, but for a lot of people. And that's about what I have for you for right now for the series Westworld, which really it's a fascinating series. I mean, aside from all the stuff we explored here in this video, if you want to look at this as just pure entertainment, I mean, it's definitely 5 out of 5 stars in my opinion. I mean, it looks amazing, the acting's top-notch, the story is absolutely mesmerizing, there's a whole lot going on here. But now that you've seen this video, now that you've seen some of the things I've shown you, I have no doubt you'll find some of your own things in this series. And it really is important to see this, because when we do these kind of videos, we're literally filling in the blanks with all of this entertainment that's thrown at us. All this stuff that's meant to program us a certain way, to make us think a certain way, right? Well, now you can see it. You can see beyond it. So thank you once again, folks, for checking out the video. I truly appreciate it. Take care out there, and I'll talk to you real soon.